Hi guys, so here's another video in my series of interview tips and tricks, and I wanted to talk to you about a particularly tricky or touchy issue today, and it's really got to do with salaries and salary negotiations. And you would well know, if you've been in the job market, that sometimes a required salary is almost a barrier to entry. So you've kind of got to get that right before you can even get your foot in the front door for an interview. So yes, you've got to get that right, but what I want to talk to you now about is I want to talk to you about when it comes up in the interview, how do you handle it? Now, I was chatting with a graduate last week who has never worked before, full-time. He's obviously been a waiter and all sorts of things, but he was attending an interview for a full-time position, and they asked him in the screening questionnaire what his expectation was. And he worked out, according to his expenses, what he would like to earn. Now, I feel he asked for a very fair entry-level figure. However, he said to me he came at it from a point of view of expenses. And that's the first warning. Never, ever, ever negotiate salary from a point of view of expenses. This is going to sound hard and cold and crass, but no line manager gives a continental about the fact that you had 6 kids and you've chosen to live in the most expensive suburb in Cape Town or wherever it is. So your expenses mean absolutely nothing, and the fact that you are asking for a salary based on expenses is not a strong position of negotiation to go into. So when you're in an interview and they say to you, what is your expected salary? Let's assume you've got through the screening and you get to the interview and they say, what is your expected salary? You need to negotiate from a point of view of value. And the only way you can negotiate from a point of view of value is, number one, you have to know your differentiators. You have to know what makes you unique. Number two, you have to believe your differentiators, and you have to be able to communicate them so that you substantiate your value. There's nothing worse than someone saying, well, I want 50K per month, and then going and shrinking because they think, God, did I just ask for that number? You need to come at it from a standpoint of value. You need to rehearse those discussions in front of the mirror, in front of your friends, your husband, your whatever the case may be. You've got to substantiate your claim based on your value, based on the fact that you believe that you are worth it, and based on your differentiators. So you combine those two, and then you can start negotiating from there. Remember also that most companies will expect you to start high and may tend to negotiate you lower. So when you ask for your 50K, perhaps you're really looking for 40K. So be aware what your walkaway figure is. They may negotiate you down. They may say, 50K is a little bit high. It's not quite in the budget. So you could turn around and say to them, well, you know what, I am negotiable. What figure were you thinking? You don't turn around and say, oh, I'll take 40. You don't drop immediately. You throw the ball back into their court. So they say to you, well, we were kind of budgeting the position for about 45. And you say to them, I'm absolutely worth 48, and I'll tell you why. And then you go into your differentiators again, and you substantiate your value, and you tell them why you're worth it. So don't ever be forced to drop that drastic drop. Know your back-end figure in your mind, but never give it away unless you have to. I hope this helps. My name is Chantel Buerta. I'm a recruitment strategist and coach. You can find me on LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube. I'm also running a 5-day challenge next week, and if you haven't signed up yet, you're going to miss out. The link is in the comments.